Hey, and welcome to another video. Today I want to outline an introduction to one of my latest long-term gardening experiments, and I am talking about Hugelkultur. So, what is Hugelkultur? Well, before we go any further, I want to quickly outline the construction of a classic Hugel mound. First, one might start off with digging a deep pit, maybe about a foot or so deep, and then filling it with logs and other woody material. And then we add a layer of grass and leaves, and then we add the compost. Finally, on top of all that, we add the soil and mature compost, and that is Hugelkultur in a nutshell. Additionally, you can also add some mulch on top, maybe grass clippings or wood chips. Now for this project, I made a bit of a modification. Instead of putting the logs in a pit, I instead just put them right on the ground, without digging into the soil. And then from that point, I have just been in the process of collecting biomass and adding all of those other materials on top. So the advantages of Hugelkultur are this. Number one, they can be a great way to add compost, debris, yard clippings, and incorporate them into the garden and have them contribute to the fertility and vibrancy that the garden can offer. And the wood, as it decomposes, can even act as a sponge to help soak up that water and hold it there in the soil in those beds, even through times of water shortages or drought. Now, two factors that are of valid concern regarding the Hugel mounds is that they can turn into exceptional habitats for voles and mice. So as a gardener, that is certainly one aspect to be aware of. Now, while voles and mice can have a beneficial effect with turning the soil and being able to help facilitate this larger process of decomposition going on in the Hugel mound, they can also potentially destroy or damage some crops that you may plant there. You can also try companion planting with strong smelling aromatic plants, marigold, mints, various herbs, maybe chives. I'm sure having a more diversity of these aromatic plants would probably be even more beneficial. And remember too, as this Hugel mound decomposes, the habitat in which it supports can also change as the decompositional process progresses. Also, the second challenge with the Hugel mounds is that the wood, as it decomposes, especially in the beginning stages of its decomposition, it can pull in a lot of nitrogen from the soil and the organic matter that's around it. Now, as these pieces of wood continue to break down and decompose, that nitrogen is eventually released back into the soil and is made available for the plants. Two potential ways you can get around that is, one, you can add in a potent nitrogen source, maybe cow manure, compost. You might also want to consider growing leguminous plants or other nitrogen fixers, and those will also help to support the life of the microbiology in the soil, which can take the atmospheric nitrogen and turn it into nitrogen in the soil that's available for plants. You might also want to consider growing certain crops that might not need a lot of nitrogen, right? So maybe don't focus so much on the corn. Maybe you want to consider peas or radishes, plants that don't need as much nitrogen to support their growth. Okay, so now I will show the beginning stages that I went through in the production of these Hugelkultur mounds.